My biggest surprise from this weekend was definitely the way that the Lions lost. I picked the Ravens to win. I just thought it was going to be a lot closer game. They did not put up a fight whatsoever. The Lions looked really, really bad. I'm not going to say the Ravens exposed the Lions by any stretch. I'm just going to go out and just say, hey, look, the Lions they had their bad week, and they were due for a bad week. And boy, did they really, really have a bad week because Lamar Jackson just did whatever he wanted to do to that defense yesterday. Again, this team, both of their losses, I believe when they lost to the Seahawks, I think they gave up 38, maybe 40 points when they lost to the Seahawks. So it this every once in a while, this defense seems to have a letdown. And I can't even say it was a trap game because they get to play the Raiders, who don't look very good right now. Don't even know who their quarterback's going to be. Then they get the Chargers and the Bears and the Packers. So a bunch of really bad teams for the Lions coming up. So I wouldn't even say it was a trap game, but definitely a letdown game for the Lions.
So, one thing we have to know about the Lions here, Combs, is I think they have 10 starters that are out right now. Over the last 2 weeks, they've had injury plague week after week after week. And they've continued to perform. They performed against the Bucks. They performed against the Packers. They performed against who else did they play before the Packers? Was that the Seahawks lost? Either way,
Yeah.
they have been stepping up and they've been defying the odds, as you say, right? Been playing injury, and you are right. Every year a team has that game. Every year a team has that game where they just forget to show up. And unfortunately, it was against a team like the Baltimore Ravens, and like how everybody's going to be pumping their chest. Oh, the Lions are just shit. The Lions are just shit. Guys, the Ravens are not that bad. I mean, we've been talking down on them a lot on this show and kind of saying that Lamar Jackson is trash and like all this other stuff. But the Ravens are not that bad. Now, are they a Super Bowl caliber team? To be determined. We'll be talking about that later.
Are we going to
But
be talking about the Lions later on in the year the same way we talked about the Vikings last year? Because the Lions, the rest of the year, minus that week 16 or week 17 game that they play against the Cowboys, they don't really play anybody between here and
yeah,
there. And they might finish this season at 14-3 or 15-2 or maybe even 13-4. Are we going to be talking about them being one of those teams that just hasn't beat anybody when they lose? If they lose that game to the Cowboys, minus the week 1 win against the Chiefs, which we know week 1 is week 1 in the NFL, they wouldn't have beaten anybody significant.
yeah. I mean, if you look at their schedule, what they only have 4 or 5 games that are teams that are above 500. The Chiefs, which the Chiefs were without Travis Kelce and Chris Jones, so you can put stock to whatever you want in that game. But a win is a win is a win. But then they did lose to the Seahawks, above 500 team. They did lose to the Ravens, which will be above 500 team. So really, right now, the only other team above 500 that they could possibly beat are the Cowboys, yes, and then the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But we saw the Buccaneers lose to the Falcons. Now, I've been high on the Buccaneers all season long. I thought they were going to win the South. Just because they're winning the South doesn't mean they're going to have a winning record. But I think you are right, Combs. I think the Lions are going to be that team. Like, yeah, they are 13-4. They are 14-3. They are the number 1 seed in the playoffs. Congratulations. But who have you played?